I took Blurple to my Lorcana League and I went 6-0. We went 2 full weeks of going 3-0. Here's my proof on the screens. Over here, check it out. That's the first week, 3-0. And then over here this week, 3-0 with the Blurple. So I'm going to tell you what happened. I'm going to read the notes that I wrote and we'll talk about it. Our round 1 this week was with Maria and she was playing a Challenger deck. She had that red steel and kind of a good thing for us, I guess, because the red steels like take a little bit longer to set up to do their things. So we had a little bit of time of our own to set up. But the thing that really won me those games was I played 3 Hades in one game. It was a good deal for sure. Blurple is super fun if you can get up to the Hades. Sometimes you might even like be happy if he's in your opening mulligan if you have enough ramping cards. The only ramping cards are Sail and Tipo, but we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the list. We'll talk about our matchups. We got the 4 Popsicles. Popsicle is probably the best turn 1 there is, unless you're wanting to have a character on board like Chernabog or Magic Broom. But we'll get to that. The thing that you can do though is that you can turn 1, put out Bell, and then the next turn, if you get it, you can sing Friends on the Other Side. So this is one of our main lines that we got going on. 4, 3, 2. I went down to 2 copies of Friends on the Other Side. You might have seen last week's video where we talk about our blurb, but we made some changes. These are the cards that we took out. We're going to talk about those changes. We're going to talk about the matchups. But right now, we're talking about what's in the deck. So like the dream is you Popsicle, put down a Bell, the next turn you sing Friends on the Other Side, or you just use Bell to take out cards. I never got the Wombo combo. Like I got this far, but I never got to have Bell sing Friends on the Other Side. Most of the time, Friends on the Other Side was ink. My last rendition, I was running the 4 of the Friends on the Other Side, but now we're at the 2 of Friends on the Other Side. And we're not running the 4th Bell, but you'll see what kind of crazy tech cards I put in at the end of this video. Why we took out one of the Bells and why we took out Friends on the Other Sides, and if it worked out or not. So those are those. And then we got 4 Tipos. Tipos all right because it lets you ink an uninkable card, and there's 11 uninkable cards, so it's not like unmanageable, but it is bothersome when your opening hand has some high uninkables in there. And then we got 3 Sailed Azurite Seas. I really like Sailed Azurite Sea because if you play it on your turn 2 and then you have another ink, like you get to use this ink. Tipos goes in your inkwell face down and exerted, but Sailed Azurite Sea, you get to use that ink that you additionally ink that turn. So all of these like 1-cost cards, like if you have a Broom in your hand, if you have a Chernabog in your hand, boom, you can play it down with that extra ink. I think it's a solid deal. So these are like our ramping core. I'm usually mulliganing to try to get one of these. Like no matter what matchup I'm going against, I want to have a ramping piece because I need to be able to play my bigger stuff early as possible. Like the benefit of blue is in being able to get there fast to the big numbers. Those are those. We got 3 Hades, definitely the MVP of this deck. Definitely love the Hades. It is the late game removal. The amount of times that I use this on my opponent's shark, it says when you play this character, you may put chosen opposing character into their player's inkwell face down. It's not exerted, so they could choose to use that ink, but it's my turn, so what's the point? 3 Hades, always happy to see him. And then like the Hades Fox cycle, like the amount of times that I'd bounce Hades back with either Fox or Snake. So let's talk about that. We got 3 Snakes and 3 Foxes to bounce stuff back to hand. Mostly we would bounce our Hades back to hand so we could use it as late game removal again. The Cusco, always super good. I played against a red purple location deck. That was our round 2 against Joe. And he had cards like Fairy Ship and Forbidden Mountain in the library. And we had Cusco to be able to take those out. Unfortunately, one of the games, I put Cusco into my inkwell because he had that Sisu, the hand Sisu on board that gets more strength for every card that I had in my hand. So I wanted to dump my entire hand into my inkwell. So that's what I did. So their Sisu wasn't too strong. There it is. 3 Fox, 3. Oh, yeah, dude, 4 Fox, always 4 Fox. What are we talking about? 4 Fox, 3 Snake, and a Cusco. That's that little section. The Crab, we got the 2 of the Crab. Kind of want to go to the 3 of the Crab. The Crab, super good. Every time I ink this, I would look at my hand the next turn and I'd be like, oh, darn, where's my Crab? I really could have used that right about now. We got 2 Magic Brooms. We got 4 Chernabog's followers. Kind of like the Chernabog's followers a little bit. Did I take out a broom? I did not take out a broom. I think I should have another broom. Brooms are good. Broom, broom, I'm in me mom's car. We got 3, the libraries. This lets you draw so many cards. And in our round 2, it was library versus library. I'll show you this little lore. Yeah, check out this lore. This was against Joe, and it was just one lore at a time. And I think literally all of these were just libraries. Like I'd have a library down, he'd have a library down, and then he'd be prepared. And then I would have a library, he'd have a library, and it's just one, 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 one. It's crazy, this matchup. We got 2 of these bells. This bell can shift onto our blue bell, this one, the sapphire bell, and she can move damage counters. That's super useful. It got around a Calhoun in one of the challenger decks that I went against because I was able to move 2 damage to a Calhoun, and then the resist for Calhoun doesn't care about damage counters. It really don't. So we have 2 of there. In there, it makes sense. We got 4 of the goats. The goats win games. On play lore effects, underrated, kind of made me wish that I had kept my white rose in this deck. I went to 2 genie and 2 rabbit before it was more rabbit. And then we have 4 of the Elsa, the one that taps a character on play. And then you also get to rush. I kept these in. And the genies, because like the Maui shark with evasive, like gotta get rid of it. And these are how you can get rid of it, especially with the crab combo. And then the Elsa can shift into big Elsa. And spoiler alerts, we're going to talk about this one. This big Elsa wins me games, like tapping down characters and then being able to quest for 3. Like they're not going to be able to keep up when you're questing for 3. 3 is a whole lot of lore. I've also bounced this back to hand to be able to put it back down, because with this deck, like it's kind of no problem to get up to like those big numbers of ink all the way up to like 16 ink. And if you shift it for 6, you're not paying that much. So then these cards in the back of the deck, these are where we went off the rails this week. If you saw it last week's video, it was pretty standard, but then I switched it up with the Elsas. This one came in clutch. This is most notably from the Illuminator's Quest. It's Elsa the Storm Chaser. It's a 1/4, so it survives a whole bunch of stuff. It's a shift target for the big Elsa. And then it's got the sauce right here. It says exert. Chosen character gains challenger +2 and rush this turn. So if I need one of my big characters to be able to take out a location or take out somebody else, boom, Elsa's going to be able to give them rush. It's a better Vitalosphere because it's on a 1/4 body and it costs the same as a Vitalosphere. It's underrated. I liked it a lot. I used it to shift. Probably would have preferred to have friends on the other side or white rose in this place. I think I cut one of these white roses that I probably should have left it in. Is kind of a saucy card. It caught your opponents off guard, and that's pretty cool. And then the cards that we should not have put in here. This is not doing any work for me at League, but I used 4 whole deck slots for it. It's the Ursula Mad Sea Witch Queen. This one has Challenger 2, so it can hit for a 3/3. But if your opponent attacks into it, it only hits back for 1. So I had 2 of those as a shift target and also a good turn 2 to be able to do some damage to go into this Ursula, the 4/7, absolutely huge quest for 3. I never played it this week at League. This never hit the board. It always went into the ink. I was unconfident about it. Like I wasn't getting enough value out of it. And maybe that's the point. Like you build your sideboard into your deck, because this one has whenever this character quests, exert chosen character. Yeah, I could do that. It's a whole lot of setup though. And then it says, you'll listen to me. Other characters can't exert to sing songs. I had it set up where I was going to shift this because the shift is way earlier. The shift is turn 5. Cost 5. This one is shift 6, so it's a lot later. I had it set up, but it didn't go through. They removed my Ursula, and then I didn't have a shift target. So then Ursula went into the inkwell. So again, our first game, we went against Maria, and she had that red steel. She was doing that Mushu Challenger deck. I played 3 Hades in one game, and that was pretty cool. Elsa was the MVP of that game. Both the tap Elsa, I think I call this one tap Elsa because she taps somebody when she enters play, and then also the A-drop Elsa because it stalled them out. I was able to like double tap their 2 Calhouns or double tap their Robin Hood in the Calhoun, and then they weren't able to come back from it. Round 2 was with Joe. Joe is a ruby amethyst fiend. He bleeds red purple. And this week he was playing a location variant. So we had lots of crazy locations. We showed you that lore book a little bit ago where it was just like library versus library. This is what I'd mulligan. Ooh, we got the popsicle. And then I'd probably keep literally both of these and then throw everything else back. Like, yeah, the Elsa would be a good thing. And I'm going to get to play the Elsa soon. But I just kind of like having my core here and then seeing what else I'll get. So I'd mulligan 4. Boom. pretty good. And I'd probably ink Ursula right off the bat. Yeah, Joe had the Be Prepared because he was playing that red color, and then he had the Diablos, which was super good. The Diablos that when they're banished, they get to draw a card, and then he would Be Prepared his own board, and then he'd be good to go. So we'd probably ink Ursula, play the Popsicle, draw a card. Ooh, look at that hand. Next turn we can ramp a bit. And then round 3 is where things went crazy. I played against Randy in round 3, and that was my round 1's husband. So that was cool. I got to play husband and wife all in one day. Randy was playing red purple, but he was playing the Maui Shark Radigan shenanigans, the new legendary Radigan that says every time you play an action, you get to gain a lore. Do you get rid of Snake this turn? I think you get rid of Snake. And then we don't have a 1-drop, so we're going to go Tipo this turn. Tipo, and then we're going to get rid of her. That was our turn 2. And Randy had all kinds of crazy cards that I had never even seen before. Another Sail the Azurite Sea. On this turn, I'd probably go crazy and double Sail the Azurite Sea. So you want to like start off with Sail the Azurite Sea. You pay 2, draw a card. You get to ink a card for turn. You get to ink an additional card for Sail the Azurite Sea, but you want to do that after another Sail the Azurite Sea, paying 2 for Sail the Azurite Sea, draw. And then we can ink 2 additional cards this turn. We could ink Friends and ink Library. And then we're all the way up to 6 ink right there on turn 3. That's what we like to see. That means that next turn, if we top deck Hades, ooh, we could play it, but we top deck a Elsa. So you can see how fast those inks come into play. But yeah, Randy had the Amethyst Chromacon, and that let me draw some cards. And then he also had this one card called Show Me More that says each player draws 3 cards. So he would draw 3 cards and I draw 3 cards. And then I had like 13 cards in one time. These are the cards that I took out. I had a White Rose in there. Kind of miss it. Kind of would prefer that over the Ursulas for sure, because the on-play lore effect, like the amount of times where like you're top decking and you're like, gosh, sure would just need a goat to win the game, came up more often than not. The Befuddle I took out. I really like the Befuddle for the Calhouns. Everybody's be playing the Calhouns. The Calhouns is in the Challenger decks, which at our league, there was 3 Challenger decks. I took out 2 Friends on the other side. Don't regret it. The Friends on the other side was usually ink. Probably should put in another bell, but also, I don't know. And then I took out my card draw, my rabbits for the Ursula things. And like, maybe that was a good idea because these were uninkable, but this is a whole lot of card draw, especially with the Mountain Bouncing. And then our little debatable slot was the Let It Goes. I was like, should I play Let It Go? It's a good card, but I don't know. I didn't do it. Like, it could help me get rid of more Maui Sharks and more stuff. But if I have my Hades, I'm going to be playing my Hades. Like, yeah, Hades could sing this, but I don't know. It didn't feel right, so I didn't tech it in. So that's what we removed, and that's how we got 6-0 undefeated at Lorcana League. Was it thanks to Ursula? Probably not. It was probably all thanks to this card right here. Popsicle goes crazy, dude. If you have a different BLURPLE list, send it to me in the comments section, because I'm going to be taking this to league again next week. We're going to try for that 9-0. I doubt it'll happen, but I'll let you guys know if it does. If you've made it this far in the video, please smash the subscribe button. We're trying to get to 1 million subscribers. If you're a fellow BLURPLE player, put a big old BLURPLE comment in the chat.